the builder's backlog, and the Philly Fed is moving the needle. That's our topic this morning for today's Backstage Pass. Good morning, I'm James Lopez, president at HomeFi Corporation. We're going to jump right into housing news this morning. Census.gov released some data, and I'm going to throw a graphic up on the screen so you can see this data about housing starts and new house permits coming out of the month of April. Okay, so this is April's monthly data. And the data shows that housing starts were down 0.2% and housing permits were down 3.2%. However, the single family component in both of those, which is what we really are focused on, was down much more. Now overall, these figures are higher on a year-over-year basis, housing starts and permits. They're higher on a year-over-year basis, but the one number that's lower is housing completions. Housing completions were down from March to April 5%, and they're down year-over-year. And again, this really illustrates the backlog that builders are facing. Like we said yesterday, there's labor shortages, material supplies are up, year over year as far as cost goes. And so it's just really the data that's coming out from April is really supporting the backlog that builders are facing. Now, home prices are higher right now, and everybody's seen that, but people have to have a place to live, right? And so if you can't purchase a home because you can't afford to purchase a home, or whatever the case is, you can't find a home in many cases, the only other option is to rent. But here's the problem. There's upward pressure on rent right now. Speaking of rents, CoreLogic released their data, and in the month of March, rent was up 13.6% year over year. Now that data is a blended data. It blends renewals and new rentals. Renewals are typically much lower, and so it brings that blended data down a little bit. And here's the deal. If you're in the industry, if you're a mortgage professional, or if you're a real estate agent, you really have the opportunity to become a trusted advisor to buyers. And really what you want to do is you want to say, look, rent is up right now, but if you purchase a home, guess what doesn't go up? Your rent doesn't go up anymore. All right. So whenever you purchase a home, your rent stays the same. What does go up is your net worth, right? Your appreciation, your property that you own appreciates and it goes up. And we've got some great resources, some buy versus rent flyers, and they're specific to county. So county by county specifically that we can get out to you. If you're interested in getting some of those flyers, please leave a comment and we will get that over to you. Great tools and resources for you. Now, the MBA released their mortgage application data for last week. It's a week over week report, and it really was kind of, not great, to be honest with you. Purchases were down 12% week over week. Year over year, purchase applications, new purchase mortgage applications were down 15%. So kind of some rough numbers, and we definitely were able to see that tangibly last week. But you guys know me, I like to find some positive in the data. And in looking into that report from MBA, interest rates were down just a little bit, not a lot, but interest rates were down from 5.53% to 5.49% week over week. So a little bit of a silver lining there in that news report. And speaking of interest rates, we'll jump right into the market. The Philly Fed released their market index. It's a manufacturing index this morning. Came out at 8:30, and it's moving the needle a little bit, which is not what's always expected from the news out of the Philly Fed. All right, what this is that it's a survey that goes out to manufacturing companies in the Federal Reserve, the 3rd District of the Federal Reserve. And what they do is they ask about what their prices are, sentiment about going forward. And so in this survey, the internals is the one that we're looking at that's really kind of moving the market is the 6-month outlook for business sentiment. And that's at the lowest levels that it's been since 2008. Now listen, we're talking about manufacturing, not housing. It's important to make that distinction. And the reason why this is good and it's moved the needle in a good way for the bond market today is because it really looks like the first strokes of the fight against inflation are starting to take some effect, maybe not necessarily directly in the data, but in the sentiment for the outlook for these manufacturing companies. So they're seeing the outlook for the next 6 months, and they're saying, hey, we don't think it's going to be as good. That shows contraction in the market as far as demand. They're expecting a contraction in demand in the market. That is good for inflation. and that's what the bonds have liked this morning. So mortgage bonds this morning are up right now 31 basis points at the time of recording. 10-year yield is down 9 basis points at the time of recording. The bonds opened up higher this morning, which is good, and what that means is that interest rates will open up a little bit lower today. That's what we can expect. Now, as the day goes on, every day is different, right? Yesterday we started out lower, and then we repriced for the better as mortgage bonds kind of rallied. That rally is continuing into today, and again, being kind of fueled by this news from the Philly Fed. So we'll see how that plays out throughout the rest of the day. But right now we're expecting mortgage interest rates to open a little better. And look, we're looking for that reset on the trend line for the mortgage bond or the 10-year yield, whichever one you want to look at. We're looking at that reset for the trend line so we can see, the mortgage bond, we're wanting to kind of scoop up and then start to move back up, and we'll see interest rates move in the opposite direction. We'll see interest rates start to go back down. That's what we're looking for. And look, there's a lot of news out there that says that the opposite could happen and that, interest rates, should still continue to go up. But right now, based on the data that we're seeing and what's happening, I don't see that quite happening like that. But again, we'll wait and see. We'll watch as news comes out and as time goes by, and we'll continue to bring you the news. Now, look, if you have any questions or comments, please make sure to leave a comment on this video. If you know anybody that would be interested in this information, we bring this information daily to you so that you can know what's going on in the market and how it's affecting mortgage and real estate. Make sure you share our YouTube channel or our Facebook page with any friends that might find this information useful or helpful, and make sure that you subscribe as well. Again, stay positive. That's all the news that we have for today. We will see you tomorrow.